Hello again everybody, it is Miss McCombie again, welcome back. Today we're going to start looking at National 5 RUAE, starting off with a little introduction as to what it is and then by looking at in your own words questions. We will do a little bit of summarising questions as well, but I'll go on to that again later. Once again, I am very sorry for my setup, but I thought I would try something a little bit different and is a bit more sustainable than last time, so bear with me. So first of all, you should probably know what RUAE stands for. It stands for reading, for understanding, analysis, and evaluation. As this suggests, you're going to have to read and answer the understanding, analysis, and evaluation questions that follow. Okay, so we'll start off with some things that you should know before starting. The exam is 1 hour long, maybe a little bit more if you've got extra time. It's worth 30 marks overall, as I said in my last video, that's 30% of your overall grade at National 5 English. You are given a passage or an article, usually something from a newspaper or magazine, things like The Guardian and The Independent. You must read that passage and you need to answer questions about the way that article is written. So a combination of understanding, analysis, and evaluation questions. Okay, so you should note that own words and summarising questions can make up to half of the marks in the RUAE paper. So that's up to 15 marks. If you think about it, that can be up to 15% of your overall grade at National 5. So it's important that you know how to do these questions now. So that's what we're going to go on and talk about next. Alright then, on to in your own words questions. Now a small disclaimer here, some teachers might ask you to do something different, but if you're in my class, this is exactly how I want you to do it. Alright then. Own words questions are a type of understanding question, and they're asking you to identify the main ideas or points that a writer is trying to make and show that you understand what is happening in the text. The number of points is the same as the number of marks. So, for example, if the question's worth 2 marks, then you're looking for 2 pieces of information. You can find the number of marks available for each question at the end of the question in brackets. You must put all the answers in your own words. I cannot emphasize this enough. This means that you do not use the words or phrases from the passage. As far as absolutely possible, you need to put the answers in your own words. Okay? Because if you quote from the passage, you are not showing that you understand what's going on. You can find the points, but you're not actually showing that you're understanding what is happening. Okay, so you must put the answers in your own words. Now, it's the only question where you do not quote or reference from the passage. And this is what I think trips some people up, is they get into the exam, they think, oh, I meant to quote. Not in this question. If it says in your own words or in your own words as far as possible, you use your own words. Bonus points if you spotted this mistake. What was I actually thinking? Alright then, let's start off with an example together. So, I want you to explain in your own words how the boy was feeling. Have a think. How many pieces of information are we looking for? So we're looking for 2 pieces of information. The question's worth 2 marks, and in your own words, each point is worth 1 mark, so we're looking for 2 pieces of information. Okay then, let's look back to the bit of the passage where we get our answers from. Right then, it says the child was absolutely devastated and bawled his eyes out all the way home. He was furious that his sister would make fun of him in front of all his friends. Alright then, see if you can find those 2 pieces of information. Okay, in the exam, you will have a pencil and you will be allowed to write on the exam paper. So it means that you can go back and underline or highlight any pieces of information that you want to remember or that help you answer the question. Remember, you'll be jumping between bits of paper a lot. So we'll do that here. We've got absolutely devastated, and we also know that he was furious that his sister would make fun of him. Okay? So we've managed to find those 2 pieces of information. Now we need to actually put that into our own words. Alright, so one mistake that pupils make a lot is they try to translate word for word. If you're doing this from another language, then it's called calquing, and it usually means it doesn't make enough sense. So a mistake that pupils might make is instead of putting absolutely devastated, they put completely upset, which again doesn't really make any sense. So here we've gone for the boy is very, very sad. Not a complex answer, but it does the job, okay? Because we're trying to avoid words like child, so we've replaced that with boy, and instead of absolutely devastated, we've put very, very sad, because it still conveys that he was really upset without using the words in the passage. Same for he was furious, okay? I'll show you how I wrote this one out. So instead of putting that he was furious, I wanted to avoid that, so I put that he was very, very angry. See what I've done here and how I've laid out this answer? I've put each point on a separate bullet point. Now, this is really important because if you write a big long piece of writing, you've written half a page for 2 points. 1, it wastes your time. 2, it's a lot harder for markers to actually find your points. So give each point 1 bullet point. It makes it nice and clear for your reader. At the same time, I don't want overly complex answers. You're showing that you understand, and I do not care if that means you are writing really simplistic sentences. So long as you have got the gist of the sentence, it does not really matter. Alrighty then, so I'm going to go over my top tips just to finish. So the first one, 1 point is 1 mark. So if it says 3 marks, you're looking for 3 pieces of information. That's the only real difference as well, by the way, between summarising questions and own words questions. The only difference is summarising questions ask you for 5 or 6 points, own words questions only ask you for 1 or 2. Number 2 then, don't try and translate word for word. If you can't do it between languages, don't just go word by word and find a synonym for each one. You're not going to get a sentence that makes sense. Think about the phrase as a whole. Number 3 then, do not use the words in the passage. If you take one thing away from this video, it's that you do not quote from the passage. Please remember that. Number 4 then, don't be afraid to change the structure of the sentence. Now, I mean that in the same way that I'm talking about don't translate word for word. Think about the phrase as a whole. You can change up the way the sentence is built. Number 5 then, highlight or underline points. If you're constantly switching between the paper and your answer paper, it makes it easier to find things. Number 6, bullet point answers. 1 mark, 1 point, 1 bullet point. Simple as that. It makes it so much easier for your marker to mark, and you're not losing time or marks because you wrote half a page. And finally, build your vocabulary now while you still have the time. That means read. Read articles. You're most likely going to get a non-fiction article, an opinion piece, something from The Guardian, maybe something from National Geographic, The Independent. So start reading now. Don't put it off. It is really not worth it. The more that you read, even if that's just like an article a week, the better it is going to be for you. Okay everybody, so that was a brief introduction to National 5 RUAE and In Your Own Words questions. Please feel free to leave me any comments or questions down below, or if you are in my class, obviously you can contact me on the team or you can contact me by email. I hope this has been useful and I will see you next time. Bye!